Hey there, it's Chris here from CP Whiskey Creek in Enscale, and in this video I'm going to show you how this line of hoppers here inspired me to make some drastic changes to my layout. So let's get started. When I started out my model railroading journey, I kind of went through the same phase that most other people go through, that I just sort of bought a little bit of everything, something that looked good or something that I liked, and I just picked it up without really realizing what I was getting at the time. And it wasn't until I saw a video that Chris from Govia Go Home made about sort of explaining hoppers and grain hoppers and what they're all about and kind of the differences between all the different types of hoppers, that I kind of realized that I had a mixed bag of things, but I didn't really have any real purpose on why I had certain things. So I kind of narrowed down the field, and I started focusing at that time into grain hoppers, and I got my own elevator and started to sort of design things focused around that. And I even actually lucked out and I found a local grain elevator still in operation in southern Ontario. So that was kind of neat to be able to see one still being operated and one basically my own backyard. The downside with that is, with my grain hoppers now having a purpose, now I had other hoppers that were kind of left unemployed. But then I keep seeing all these plastic hoppers parked on a storage siding. This storage siding always sort of stood out to me because this used to actually be the TH&B main line that ran from Hamilton through to Waterford area. This was the Waterford sub. So at one point there were TH&B trains running through here, and they would actually be servicing the Brantford station. So the tracks don't cross over the road anymore, but you can still see the station off in the distance. And unfortunately the station is destined to be part of a condo, but it still always bugged me about these cars, but I never really had any place to put something to make this work. Well, I struggled to figure out how I can incorporate another industry on my layout, which this one could handle other hopper loads. I was also feeling a weird itch for operations. I really enjoy watching channels like the South Down Switching Layout and these SoCal scale models, as well as Lance Minheim, and they all have small switching areas and runarounds, and they present different challenges beyond just that of a trailing turnout. But once again, I now am back to struggling with where exactly am I going to be able to incorporate something that will present the same type of challenge and interest and have some good scenery as well as model railroading fun. And of course, while all this is going on, I'm also trying to figure out how to get JMRI to work with my layout. It doesn't really like the idea of a yard that has no purpose, in the sense that cars would come back, say, empty from an industry, and they would just basically die there. There's nowhere for them to go to get reloaded and then come back to the yard. So it kind of needs some type of hidden staging or interchange track, which I don't have that on my layout. So let me introduce you to the Beltline. I've been surfing the internet for quite a long time, looking at various layout plans, looking for inspiration, looking at different YouTube videos and pictures on Facebook and other areas, trying to get an idea of how I can incorporate the things that I want. And this one finally popped up. It's a shelf-based layout with small little switching, a runaround, and the idea for this one is it can be kind of inspired on the TH&B in Hamilton, which is the Beltline is basically an area with a bunch of industries that's away from the main line. There's a little bit of inspiration for the TH&B in Brantford as well, where the main line is now part of the switching tracks. So right down the middle would be the former TH&B main line, and then all these industries are part of a sort of a grungy downtown-esque area where it's now basically introduced to the end of the line. I was able to find a spot with a little bit of room that I was able to add a switch to come off basically right where Whiskey Creek is, and then I was able to, once I trim back the mountain area a little bit, then I can fit the track in there and actually have enough room not only to lead to the switching area, but it would also lead to a hidden staging area which I can incorporate as part of my interchange staging tracks. The backdrop that starts here will actually continue for the rest of the layout, so this is kind of the starting area for everything else now. Now I'm going to give you a little tour of what the Beltline is going to consist of. I have the space to be able to put in 4 industries along here. The ones at the back are going to be more of just like building backdrops for the tracks to service. And then in the front, I've already started designing out. I'm going to have a little bit of some businesses and whatnot along a road that's going to run along here. The road will come across, and then there will be a crossing here. That guy shouldn't be there. The crossing here, and then that's going to lead to the distillery. So at least this way the distillery has a link to the outside world through the road that will come across here and then go off into La La Land here. So I'm already sort of planning out some ideas that I'll have. Obviously there'll be a business here, rail serve business here, convenience store with a gas station here. I'm going to have a 2-bay garage. So some of these are I'm looking at the Outland models. And then this business is probably going to be like since I like smoking meats, and it's probably going to be like a barbecue dealer. So you can buy your Traegers and Pit Bosses and barbecues and stuff like that. So I'm going to use the Paragon heating building that I have, Walther's one, use that. Here's probably going to be like a vacant lot, and then there'll be another business here. And got to do something to sort of block some stuff here, because that goes off to the interchange hidden staging. So that's hidden from our view. So tentatively, what I have the idea for is in the back corner here is going to be like a plastics pellet industry. There's going to be a kind of like a paper distribution. So they'll receive boxcars coming in and then trucks heading out. And then this business up here is going to also be a boxcar service industry, probably for some type of like transload business. And then this one will receive possibly flour by hopper, or the tank cars full of sugar, cane sugar, liquid sugar, syrup. Yeah. So like a candy distributor. So it'll receive that stuff in, sort of like a bakery type thing, and then they'll make candy and ship them off. So the background is a color I finally decided upon. It's Carefree Sky. So I got this from the old Home Depot. So great way to be able to do this is just get like a little trial can, and then I painted the backdrop, then continued it behind here, and then what's going to continue for the rest of the layout along here. So gonna have to make some changes around here. Still not decided. I don't really like the idea actually of having a tunnel here, because I'm supposed to be, ideally I'm modeling Southern Ontario, and there's really no mountains that the trains go through. So I'm gonna make some changes as part of this area here, because now I need to integrate whatever's going on in this area to this area and then block all that off. But that's all sort of a work in progress for the future. In the back here, we have our hidden staging area. So this is sort of the start of an interchange staging yard. So I've already got one piece of track in here, and I mean, it's a place where I can hide my auto racks. I don't have any auto rack dealer, but I like having some of them. So if I want to basically run a auto rack train, then I can, but I don't really have anywhere to service them or have them drop off stuff or anything like that. But this way I can still have these guys here, and I can build trains back here. The lighting's not great here, but that's another day problem. So still have to figure out how I'm gonna get some more switches in here and get some more yard track. Might even actually put across the back here a piece of track like so, and this could be like a rip track for if I have any troublesome cars, and I can put them up here, just so I know that those ones need servicing of some type, replacing wheels or couplers or whatever it is. So kind of a to-do list area. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this section, because really all we're looking at is it's a 2x4 section, and then it's just over a foot and a bit for this little switching area, and then it gives me that extra space over here for the hidden staging and interchange. This way I can have cars come down, go through the little mouse hole, kind of like a trackside Mike hole in the wall. That's the closest I'm getting to a hole in the wall. Sorry, Mike. And then cars can go off into the distance. They can get changed on their status of loaded or unloaded, and then come back out onto the main line and head off to the yard.